What's up, guys? This is episode 4 of the Riccardo Baleia podcast. Once again, a big thank you to everyone that's been watching these. It's been a big learning experience so far, having a lot of fun, learning a lot of cool stuff. And before we get to our guest, I just want to kindly ask you guys if you can like and subscribe to my channel. Please share it, do what we can to support. Really appreciate it. And, let's get right to it. We have one of the pioneers of jiu-jitsu, somebody that's done some amazing things in the sport. One of the first, huge names of women's jiu-jitsu, Leka Vieira. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Leka. So for those of you, maybe, if you're kind of newer into jiu-jitsu, Leka, three-time world champion, three-time pan champion, silver medalist, ADCC. You've kind of, you were not only hit the top of the mountain with jiu-jitsu, but you're one of the first, female athletes to go out there and compete. So can you tell me a little bit about like the early days of women's jiu-jitsu and, competing in women's jiu-jitsu and maybe how you got started?
Well, the early days was rough for women because, as you might know, it was a male sport, and was very hard in the beginning to be accepted as a member of the team. And many guys from the school would tell me like, oh, women come and go, so maybe you one of those. Why it was basically they would find two reasons for me to be there, or because I wanna find a new boyfriend, or because I was a lesbian. So those are
Well,
the reasons why women would do jiu-jitsu. And in the beginning it hurt me a lot because of course I started when I was 16 years old, and you're a teenager, so you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to find your identity still, and things like that will bother me and get to me. So when I start uh, training more and more, I think I got the respect from the group, and they saw that I was legit, and they kind of like it got behind me and helped me a lot. I had a lot of support. Of course, I had a lot of scrutiny too, but it's part of the game, and there is nothing you can do much back then. If you don't like it, your options are just to quit. Otherwise, you would be a creante, you can go to another schools. Or it was rough, it was very rough, but I appreciate everything that happened to me before, because if it didn't happen, I wasn't the person that I am today, the teacher that I am today, the fighter that I am today. So it was all good. It was all part of the learning experience, part of the journey.
so what got you into training jiu-jitsu? Like you said, usually some girls that they're kind of there for other reasons, but you were a diehard competitor. What got you started, and then what kind of made you or help you make that transition from just somebody going to train to becoming like a full-time competitor, and especially one at like the top of the mountain?
So before jiu-jitsu, I used to play handball. It's like a European version of handball. So I was pretty good at it. I was gonna make. I was invited to the national team, but unfortunately, I had an ACL tear, and unfortunately, my ACL tear was just a partial tear. And when I went to the doctor, they like, oh, there is nothing I can do about it because it's a partial tear. There is nothing we can do about a partial tear. You have to wait until become a full tear,
Okay,
and
yeah.
then we can have surgery, and then we go from there. So the position that I play, handball is a very rough game, very physical, and I couldn't do the moves that I used to do when I play impossible because my knee buckled. I tried, but my knee buckled. Was like every time my knee buckled was like extremely painful, and was very very hard on my body. Then I stopped doing that, and then I'm like, I have to find something that I like, and I have to get into something. So I was like kind of like getting a little bit overweight, not much, but just a little bit of weight. And I'm like, I have to find something that I like to do. So back in the day, my brother used to do taekwondo. So he's like, oh, let's do taekwondo too, whatever, whatever, whatever. So I went to the taekwondo class. I liked it, and But then I had this friend that was bothering me so much. Oh, dude, you have to come and try jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is awesome. Jiu-jitsu is dope, and all these things. And I'm like, dude, I don't want be like grabbing people. What if you have to
Yeah.
grab their butts? It's very uncomfortable. I want nothing to do with that. And
Yeah.
she was like, please, 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 just one class. If you do one class, if you don't like it, I'll never bother you anymore. I said, okay, whatever, I'm gonna go. So I went to try, and was like that day they were doing takedowns, and I was like so fascinated how like a small person could throw like a big person. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And
Awesome.
I got into it, and I was able to do a few takedowns, and obviously like drilling, and I was like, wow, I'm not even using my power, and I'm throwing this guy like a big guy. So that fascinated me. Like I was in love, like it was love at first sight. I was like very very amazed how was an art, was a smart game, was something that you don't need to use your power, but at the same time you have to use a lot of your brains. It was incredible for me. Was what fascinated me and what got me hooked to do jiu-jitsu.
And then what, like, how did you make that transition really, like, from becoming like a hobbyist that was just training? Because I know in Brazil, like, we, like the gringos, we think everybody does jujitsu. We think everybody's a fighter. We think everybody's competing. Like, when I went to Brazil, to visit my wife's family, my father-in-law was just like, why are you doing jujitsu? like it's not as common as we think, right? So surely not everyone's competing. So what made you transition from being somebody there, just as a sport and a hobby, to becoming a full-time athlete?
I in my life I always been competitive. Doesn't matter. I had two brothers. I have two brothers older than me, so we compete. We used to compete for everything. So it's a nature. I don't think. I think some people they just born like that. They become like competitors. Like I have to compete for everything. I was like the younger one, so I have to compete for the toy that I want. I want in fighting. I have to fight my brothers all the time. So it was like it's a spirit. I think it was with me when obviously I play handball. I was a competitor too. I done a lot of competition. So I think it was something that was with me. And the most important thing for me is it's fall in love with what you're doing. So I really fell in love with jiu-jitsu. So I wanted to do. I quit school. I don't recommend that, but I remember
Yeah.
being first year of high school. I just quit school. I was like, I wanted to train 3 times a day, and obviously one of those times was in the morning when school was going on, and I was like, I don't have time for that because school, of course, is very very important. I have two kids. I can't stress how important is school, but school sometimes they don't value your ability, and I was always very athletic. And especially in Brazil, if you want to be an athlete, it's like, you lazy, you don't want to
Yeah.
go to school and blah blah blah. So it was within me. So it was that's the reason why.
So, training in Brazil, you were at Dojo Academy, correct? And did
Yes.
you start, and eventually you moved to the States, but in Brazil, you were there. And then, from not mistaken, you did a little training at Gracie Maita with Leticia. Can you talk a little bit about that? Maybe like competing at that time, being in Brazil and competitions and maybe hooking up with Leticia?
Yeah. When you were the only women on your school back in the day, male sports, and in a place that they don't take women, like, was all men. So it's like, what are you doing here? So every single day I have to compete. Every single day I have to kill a lion. So it was a hostile environment where I always have to prove myself. I always have to prove myself. So it was very frustrating in the beginning, because in the beginning I was trying to prove myself to others. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard. But then when I start realizing that I don't have to compete against them, I have to use them as a tool for my development. So I don't have to worry about the times that I got my butt kicked, which was a lot because obviously I was a woman, I was light, so it was very hard for me. But it's like I said, it's part of the journey. I'm not gonna whine about anything that happened in the past. I start at this school dojo in 1992. I went all the way to my black belt in 1998, and I felt that was time for a change, and I developed a very good friendship with Leticia. I believe maybe 1995. So from 1995 and on, we start training together. I would visit her school sometimes, and she visits my school sometimes. We exchange information, exchange skills and training and ideas. And like I said, in 1998, I decided I wanted to do something new or different that I was doing. So I start training with her at Grace Humaitá. I stayed there for 2 or 3 years because after that I moved to United States.
Hmm.
And when I moved to United States, it's funny, but it was like three schools. It was Hardy and Gracie, was the Machados, it was Hickson, and I think Jean Jacques too. That's it. That was the only jiu-jitsu schools in California back in the day. So as I end up in South Bay in Redondo Beach, so I went to train with Higa. He gave an opportunity to train with him and also have a female class.
Yeah, and then you eventually developed a big female team back in the day, the Machados, like Felicia O, Sydney Omatsu. Can you tell me a little bit about that, like how that kind of started, and list you gave some black belts out, female black belts. Let's talk through that.
Yeah, the first time I came to California was in 1998, and I gave a seminar at Riga Machado School, and I met. Higan had like a good, I would say like 8 or 10 females, and I had a chance to meet them, and then we develop a friendship. And the reason why I'm here today was because they were like, "Man, you have to come here. You have to live here. You know, you do great here and things like that." And I ended up coming in 1999, 2000, and ended up training them. So it was very good both ways. I think it was very good for them to learn from me, but it was very good for me too to be able to have a chance to teach there and teach them. They great females. They love the sport just as much as I do. So it was a great exchange.
So, backtracking a little bit, the first World Championship, 1996. They didn't have female divisions at that time, right? So, am I correct? So,
Yeah.
what was the first year that they had the female division?
The first year that they have the female competition was in 1998. I
Okay,
was a brown belt back then.
and what was the feeling like competing in that event, and competing in the first women's world championship, and talk a little bit about how you did. I mean, I know there's some video out there of it, and you fought awesome. It was, it's always exciting to see those old school matches. But tell us a little bit about that experience, about becoming one of the first world champions in jiu-jitsu.
Well, in 1998, the first time that they allow women to compete, the world championship was funny because it was like kind of like I felt like we were segregated, and then it was the first time that we couldn't compete and be in the same stage as the man. I was a brown belt back then in 1998. Actually, 1998 was the first time they let women compete. I was a brown belt, and the competition was blue to black. So
Wow.
I remember that was tough because people say whatever they want to say, right? Sometimes they say, "Oh, was easier back in the day." Uh, it's not easy to pave the way. It's not easy at all
Yeah.
because you have to figure it out for yourself. So you have to fight blue to black. So imagine being a brown belt and moves to a white belt, or I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, for a blue belt and things like
Yep.
that. What's the first thing gonna come to anybody else's mind? Oh, she sucks. I knew it because I was very like I was ahead of my time. So I remember getting the brown belt and the scrutiny that was like, oh, you're crazy. How can you give a brown belt to a female? It's not real. It's fake. She's not even good. Blah blah blah. So you had to fight out. You have to fight whoever's in front of you inside the mat, but you have to fight out this scrutiny outside the mats too. And like I said, you have to kill a lion a day because you have to prove yourself every single
Yeah.
day. You have to prove that you belong there. You have to prove if you can make mistakes, because when you make mistakes, they're gonna point fingers at you and say, "See, I told
Yeah.
you, women cannot be a brown belt, whatever, whatever, whatever." But you learn how to deal with that. Like I said, it's a process. You have to learn how to deal with those things. So I remember my first world championship. I had, I believe, 2 or 3 fights, but I got disqualified because in my last match, I got in a fight, like in an argument with my opponent, and I ended up being disqualified. So back that year, we didn't have any females that were black belt and became world champions. So that year, I
Okay.
just got disqualified in my match, and whatever was what it was. That's what happened to me. So
Yeah.
I mean, I was having good fights, but my last fight I got disqualified.
And then you went back in '99, and then you got the gold, right?
Yeah, in '99, in 1998, right after there was this competition called the Oscar of Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a huge competition, and I was fortunate to win my fight. And the day after my fight, I got my black belt. So it's kind of like was kind of like a reality check for me. I was like, now I'm a black belt. Now I have to represent. Now I have to like. I used to train 3 times a day. I went to 4 times a day. I spent 6 hours
Wow.
on the mats. I have, and I had a great work ethic. I wanted to be the best I could be. I didn't want to be better
Yeah.
than you or better than anyone else. I just wanted to be the best I could be. And in 1999, I came back with the mentality and the mindset of redemption. Because obviously after I got disqualified, a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, I was bad for the sport because I talk trash and I was too aggressive and I'm a bad representation and this and that and blah blah blah." So I have to kind of like redeem myself, stay with myself, improve to myself, and prove everybody wrong. So, and I was fortunate enough to be able to win as a black belt, and was the first time a female black belt was able to be a world champion.
Okay. So I got a couple things I got to ask. So
Sure.
first of all, the Oscar Jiu Jitsu, was that the one where Hoist and Valich fought, that was on the one on the Copacabana beach there?
Yes.
So you fought Gigi's wife.
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. Okay, and when you went into '99, from what I see on the tape, you know, you were aggressive. Obviously, '98 you got DQ'd, but what watching you compete, beautiful double legs, right to mount to passing to submission. That's a beautiful thing to see in the sport. You know what I mean? Like, do you feel like now the jujitsu, obviously it's changed tremendously, but do you kind of look at it now like, wow, like, do you feel like it's missing something? Like, do you feel like it's missing that kind of that raw exchange, starting from the takedowns and more starting on the feet, or are you content with how things are right now?
No, I believe that we missing the
Yeah.
aggressiveness. I think everybody should be aggressive. Everybody should fight to win, and don't worry about losing, because you can only control what you can control. Okay, you have to train super hard. This is the things that you can control: your training, your work ethic. When you go out there, you have to go for a fight. You're not gonna control the outcome. You don't know if you're gonna win, and you don't know if you're gonna lose, and you shouldn't be worried about those things. You should just be worried about execution. Go
Mhm.
hard. Uh, try to execute a good game and win. And that's how you should have in your mind when you compete. Go for the
Yeah.
win and go for the execution. Like, believe in yourself and believe in everything that you do every single day. And obviously, like I said, I'm honest with you right now. I can't watch most of the fights because they're boring.
Yeah.
I think 10 minutes is too long, and I think advantage is not a good thing for the sport. I mean, I have my point of view, right? When I
Yeah.
fought, when I used to fight back in the day, you can slam. Was more aggressive. Did I have an advantage? And it was more aggressive. And Ricardo, for me, it's very hard because I am aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't hold back. I'm gonna go there, and I wanna do what I do. I don't
Yeah.
want to be like, I don't want to look cute. I don't want to win by advantage. I wanna bring it.
Yeah.
And I think everybody should have this mentality because it will make it more exciting. And again, if you lose that way, you're gonna feel great because you left out on the mats. You don't have anything to be like driving home and be like, I should have, I could have.
Yeah.
Just go all out.
You put it
That's my
all out there.
mentality.
Yeah, you put it all out there, and you have no
All
regrets.
out.
So another thing too, one of the things I really like to do, obviously talking to a lot of the legends on my podcast, I'm trying to focus a lot on the legends and the people that paved the way in the sport. And one of the things that's really fascinates me, I'm always fascinated about the training that these people, these champions of the past, did compared it to today. And you just said you stepped up your training to 4 times a day. What was the training like 4 times a day? Is it just 4 jiu-jitsu classes of an hour and a half of warm up technique and sparring, or was it like separated by drillings? Like what were those 4 sessions like?
Well, my 4 sections were like a lot of mobility, a lot of like solo exercises because you have to be able to move well. Okay, so you have to work on the footwork, you have to work on loosen up your hips, you have to work on your grips, you have to work on your strength, but you have to work also and on your drills, and you have to work on your techniques, and you have to work on, let's go for half an hour, let's go for an hour, let's go into some one taps, let's go for like 2 minutes and super fast, the way you can go, the fastest you can go. So I try to I did a lot of one-on-ones too. Ricardo, for you to have an idea, I would like come early to the school and I would ask like a brown belt or a purple belt to work with me. And I'll say, dude, can you work with me? Can you just like beat me up? It's okay, you can beat me up, but I
Yeah.
just want to fight with you. Can you help me out? And then we train a lot. And another thing too, it's very, very important. It doesn't matter the belt you are, you have to put yourself in a position that you are a student. When you empty your mind and let your body create, beautiful things happen. So I do this every day. I have this mentality. I keep training. I keep improving my game, improving myself, and I don't need to win every roll. I just wanna like roll and test myself, and my competitions with myself. So that's what I think is the best way for you to have to learn and to keep learning and don't be like, I know everything, I know it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try to. I'll run on the beach. I like I said, I ask guys that were higher belt than me if they can train with me, if they can help me develop. I drill. I work on my solo drills. I do. I would do it all, to become the best version of myself I could.
If you could go back in time and fix your game, or give yourself advice on training, and how being a competitor, or just all the things that you've learned, what would be some of the biggest advice you would give yourself? Or do you feel like you did everything that the best you could?
The best advice I would give to myself and to anyone that's starting or is starting this journey or are already in this journey, don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to the criticism. Um, like I said, Ricardo, in the beginning it was very, very hard for me. I was 16, was a male sport, And like I said, the negative comments that, oh, she's here for the guys, oh, she's here because she's lesbian, that would bother me a lot. You know what I mean? It bothered me every time that I compete. It would bother me that people would not talk about my technique, what I just executed, but talk about like why she's doing this, you know,
Yeah.
maybe she's lesbian, maybe she wants to have a boyfriend, blah, 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 blah. So in the beginning, but I was 16, you know, it's hard when you're 16, you don't know much about yourself yet. So it's just like the listening to negativity and things that people say that are mean, and you know, it's people that bullying you. I remember like in 1999 when I won my first world championship. um I had this girl that was like from the other school, like yelling all kinds of profanity and like bullying me. Oh, she's this, she's that. And I remember like, you know, talking to myself during the fight and say, don't listen to this, don't listen to this, you're better than that, you know, just go, just believe in yourself, just do what you're capable of doing, don't listen to anyone, prove everybody wrong. So I think those are the things, you know, it's like if I could have the mentality that I have today, like control what you can, you know, do what you can, be the best you can be your own competition, things like that. I think that's the advice I'll give to myself, and I'll give to anyone else that is going through something, or it's frustrated that, oh, I didn't win this role, I didn't win that role, I think I hit my plateau. It's just keep going, you know, control what you can control, and that's it.
And how many? What were the differences in divisions back then? Like there was obviously less weight classes. Like how many weight classes when you first started compared to today? Like it was
I think it
quite
was three weight classes.
three weight classes. Wow.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how things have changed, right? And everything,
Yeah.
it's and then you were actually one of the first females to fight in the ADCC in 2005, and they had more weight classes back then, and then they kind of went down a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about your ADCC experience? Because that seems to be where just before you stopped competing a little bit. So, can you talk about ADCC? I know you
Yeah.
ended up competing against Kira, I believe.
Yes.
So, yeah, go ahead, talk about that.
Well, the ADCC for me was like a great learning experience, because coming from the jiu-jitsu background, you always think, ah, it's okay, it's just like jiu-jitsu, you just take your gi off and you go for. But I realized that it's another martial art. It's not jiu-jitsu. The ADCC, they have their own rules. They have a different system. Was a learning experience for me. It was very, very different. It was funny because I had no idea, right? So I this whole time I did a camp, like a good like 2 to 3 months camp for the ADCC, but I did with gi. I trained every day with the gi. I had no
Wow.
idea what I was like doing in
Yeah.
I remember they have like the how's it called, the meeting, I mean the
Rules
rules
clinic. Yeah.
meeting and whatever. I didn't
Yep.
even go. I'm like, it's okay, I know the rules already, I just have to do jiu-jitsu and try to finish
Yeah.
people, no big deal. But it was completely different, and kind of like threw me off a little bit, because I wasn't expecting like the way the rules were and things like
Yeah.
that. It was very, very different for me.
So, what happened after 2015? You sort of took a little break from jiu-jitsu. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Actually, 2005. After 2005, actually, the ADCC was going to be like my last competition for a while,
Okay.
because I was like, Ricardo, it's very hard when you're an immigrant and you have to get your green card, and you have to like um try to be able to be legal in this country. I was always legal in the United States, but I had a work permit. It's a lot of bureaucracy that
Yep.
goes on with becoming legal and things like that. So I was dealing with that. I was dealing with a very bad back injury, and again, I didn't have insurance, like health insurance. So it was very tough for me. So I was like, I need to give my body some time to like recover from all this. I started in 1992, and my first break was 2005.
Wow.
Yeah, so but after the ADCC, I was like, that's it, I'm gonna take a break, and I don't know what the future holds for me, but that's it. But then when I lost the ADCC, I was like, I can't go out like that. It's like, that's not acceptable for me. I can't
Yeah.
go out with a loss. I have to go out conquering something, like winning something. So I think the ADCC was in May, right? I think it was in May, and that year wasn't being a good year for me. My dad passed away in April, so ADCC was in May, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go one more, and it's gonna be the World Championship in Brazil, which was like July. So I went there. I competed, and I was fortunate to win my third World Championship in Brazil in 2005. And then I was like, now I wanted to take a little break from it.
And you fought Kita in the finals of that again too, right?
Yes, I fought Kira again. So it
Yeah.
was kind of like a revenge, even
Yeah.
though, the first time we fought was no gi. And, but I knew I was much better with the gi, obviously.
Yeah.
No gi for me was like, yeah, having fun, like messing around.
Yeah.
Wasn't like I mean, and it's still, like I train no gi, but to me, it's like messing around. Like it's not what I love to do.
Okay. So what brought you back to jiu-jitsu? What, like after that you took a break? What got you back in? Because I know, like, I grew up looking at all the idols of the sport, and you were one of the first female competitors that I saw that really stood out. And I saw you take a break, so, and it was cool to kind of see you coming back in the competitions. I'd say like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So what brought you back to jiu-jitsu? I know, even though you were away, something, you must have still had some desire. Were you still training? Was it, what happened?
Well, after 2005, after July, which was like the World Championship, I never stopped training.
Okay.
There is a misconception on that.
Okay.
I feel that I'm a very private person, so people don't know much about what I'm doing, what's up with me. But I kept training. I just wasn't competing. So, but
Gotcha.
I kept training, and I felt relief that I wasn't like teaching. I was just like enjoying myself training,
It's nice
and
to be a student again. It's
yeah,
nice
just
to,
training.
yeah, just to train and learn again,
Yeah, I
and have
mean,
fun with
I
it.
was
Yeah.
like, let me just like swing by places, train, and let me just train without
Yeah.
the obligation to teach every day and things like. Let me see how this will play out too. So I was just training and things like that, and then in 2009, no, actually, yeah, 2009, I had my son, and obviously between 2008 and 2009 I was pregnant, so I wasn't training, obviously. Then I had my son, and I back in, remember when I told you about my ACL? I have a
Yep.
partial tear and things like that. So when I had my baby, like after like 9 months that I had my baby, my ACL finally I tore my ACL, the
Complete
whole thing.
tear.
And I
Yeah.
was celebrating, yes, now I can have a surgery and fix it, because
Yeah.
um since I started jiu-jitsu, I had to fight and compete with a torn ACL. So it
Oh,
wasn't fun. From time to time my knee buckled, and it was horrible pain. And every time my knee buckled, they were like, yes, now it's gonna be a full tear, and now I can have a surgery. But believe me or not, from 16 years old to 36 years old, 20 years, my ACL just torn 20 years after I torn
wow.
it the first time. So it was a full tear. After I had my baby, my knee, I could have my surgery. So I had my surgery. So 9 months after I had my baby, I had a surgery, a knee surgery. So it was a
Okay.
full ACL, full ACL reconstruction with cadaver, and I had to do my both ACL too, because um, when after 6 months I delivered my baby, and I had a C-section. So I had to wait all this period, like 6 months. 6 months came by, and I start training. And then when my baby was 9 months old, I had to do, I tore my ACL. So I had a surgery. So I had to be like 1 year layoff because, the ACL, whatever, and
Yep.
meniscus was like was a mess. My knee was bone, it's bone. So was a mess.
Wow.
So I had to be 1 year recovering, whatever, whatever, whatever. So I always wanted to have 2 kids, and I wanted them to be born in September and in March. So my first kid born in September, but the second one, because I had my surgery, my doctor said, you can't put weight on your knee right now, so you have to wait. So my second baby, he born in June. So June, I had my baby. June 2012, I have my baby, and
Uh,
then I tore my other knee. I was in a scooter,
uh-huh.
and then boom, my knee blew
Oh,
out,
wow.
and I had to have another surgery.
Oh,
So yeah, it was another year because it was messed up too. Like I have to reconstruction everything, whatever. So it was kind of like a layoff between, like I said, um, until 2008 I was training. Then I stopped 2009 because I had a baby, and then I was 3 months into my training. Then my knee gave out, so I had to have a surgery. Then I have to wait a year. Then after this year, I went back training, but I got pregnant. Then I have to stop again. Then I come back training, and then I blew my other knee.
oh,
So it
wow.
was like a mess. So after those, and then I recovered from this second knee surgery, and then I start training. I was like, no, first I wanted to get in shape and training jiu-jitsu, whatever. And then I recovered from my knee surgery. I start getting shape again. Then I start training, like swinging by places and stuff like that, and start training again. And then I was like, everybody's like, dude, why don't you teach again and whatever, 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 and open your own school? And I'm like, dude, you think people gonna want to train with me? Of course. My husband was very supportive. He's like, you should open your school. You have amazing techniques. I want to learn from you. Everybody wants to learn from you. Blah blah blah. Why don't let's open your school? So I was like, okay, whatever. So I opened the school, and it was like, I just, I would be happy if I have 20 people there and I could train.
Yeah.
But then when I opened this school, uh, it was people coming, coming, and then I started getting out, like worry about because here we have a lot of rules. So I rent this warehouse, but they have like 5 designated spots from my place. So I don't want to get kicked out. I don't want to get
Yeah.
sued, whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm not closing this place and opening like a huge place. Now I have like a 6,000 square feet place
Oh, wow.
with tons and tons of parking lots.
Nice. That's
So
awesome.
yeah, then back in I opened this place in 2015.
Wow. And
Yeah,
and and now you started a kind of like I believe what's it called? It's called Wonder Woman.
yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about that? I know that's like kind of like a project you've been working on, organizing a lot of the women in the community and stuff like that. But tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Wonder Women BJJ project by Leka Vieira born because I was getting like tons and tons of message on my Instagram, Facebook, you the pioneer, but you don't do anything for women. You don't teach women. You don't tell your stories. You have to do something for women so they understand how it was back in the day and blah 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 and blah 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 blah. I had tons and tons of messages of people asking me to do something about it, and I'm
So
like,
so wait, people were actually like kind of like giving you shit
yes,
for not
yeah.
contributing.
They
That's
were they were like
okay.
giving me crap, like, how come you don't do anything? You're so quiet, you don't say anything.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. I'm a very private person. So I don't talk a lot. I don't I
Yeah.
don't I don't do a lot of appearances, but I was like, then I start, okay, okay, okay. And people like, you have to go back to competition, you have to show how it is and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay. So I start talking to a friend of mine and my husband, and I was like, I would only do something that I feel passionate about. It has to be something that I think like I wanted to get involved. I don't want to just like put my name on and walk away. Because
Yeah.
you see this a lot. Like sometimes you see, like even with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu schools, you see this big name at the door, but when you go inside to take a class, the big name is never there. So I
Gotcha.
was like, I don't want to be one of those. I don't want to like people to come to my school, has my name there, but when you come and try to take a class with me,
Yeah.
I'm not there. You know what I mean? It's like,
Okay.
oh, is this instructor, that instructor, blah blah blah. I just have my name there. I in my school I teach all the classes. I
Wow.
teach the 3-year old and I teach the uh, older people, the fundamentals, the advanced, the kids class. I want to have my hands in it everywhere. I want
Nice.
to teach everywhere. I want to have my hands everywhere inside the mats. I hate everything that's outside the mats. Can I pay you? Can I buy a shirt? Can I do this? No, you can't. Not with me. I'm not the person. I like the funny stuff. So
Yeah.
with the project, I was like, okay, so I need to do something that I would wanted to be involved. I wanted to be there. I wanted to like be raising the flag and be there. So we created the Wonder Women BJJ project, which is a project that we have a bunch of open mats where women get together and are there. And also I'm there. I'm training with the other women. They are there. I train with my students, of course, obviously, like in a daily basis. But
Yep.
I train with the other women that are there too. I'm involved with the project. I love creating new relationships and. Until now we did a bunch of open mats, but we're gonna start doing like seminars where uh, I'm gonna teach seminars and I'm gonna have like partners with me. And the Wonder Women BJJ project, it's a project that is free of affiliations, opinions. I don't want to talk about uh, anything that's political.
Political. Yeah.
I don't want to like you. Of course, I represent Checkmat, but I don't want to be like, okay, you coming to Checkmat,
Yeah.
open mat. You
No.
coming
No.
to the Wonder Women open mat, which is like a bunch of women that share the same passion to BJJ as I do or as everyone else does. So it doesn't matter your school affiliation, if your political affiliation, your race, your ethnicity, if your gender preference. It's all women that love BJJ. That's it.
Awesome.
So it's been very interesting for me that I've been able to meet a lot of great women that love jiu-jitsu and love to talk about it, and it's been great for me. We unfortunately, with this whole coronavirus thing, we were not able to make any events this year. And plus, I love to do is that every event that we do, we help someone. We help schools, we help the less fortunate people. It doesn't matter what it is. We help kids, we help women, we help families. We love to help because I said, I'm opening my school for all these women. And I think when you know that you're going there and you're helping someone, it motivates you
Yeah.
even more to go there because it's for a good cause. So I believe that when you do something like that, we can only achieve success. It's like it's a great. I'm able and I'm humble to be able to use my platform to help others
Awesome.
everywhere.
Awesome. So, okay, so you have the project, you open a school, you affiliate with Checkmat, and then last year, that was your first tournament that you came back, right? You fought at the World's Masters, I believe. How was that? Talk about that experience. What it felt like being on the mats. I saw some video, and I know you had a big cheering squad there. And how was that emotionally for you to kind of go back and compete, win in front of your friends and students and family?
Well, I did the Pan
Oh,
American
pants.
last year.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna do this year too, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, because the whole coronavirus, we were not able to compete and things like that. But last year, compete was a layoff of 14 years. So I was excited. I was um I think I just was excited to go out there and compete. I did my work. I'm a hard worker, so it's easy for me to just work, you know. But it was different because I had a goal in mind. I had like something that I wanted to achieve. So it was like was great for me. Like I competing after a layoff of 14 years was like a great experience. I trust me, Ricardo, I would compete every weekend if I could. It's just that now I have a school.
Yeah,
I when I opened my school, I put in my mind that that was my first number one priority. I wanted to dedicate my time to my students. So that was my commitment to my school. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna I didn't do anything different. I taught all my classes. I did everything that I do, but I kind of like work extra hours on my craft, so I be able to go there and do what I do and do my best when my best was needed. So it was a great experience for me. I mean, I love competing. I just
yeah.
love competing. It's like I said, it's in my DNA. It's undeniable for me. I love competing. So it was a great experience for me. Was a great experience for my students that they never saw me competing before. I had a great support system with me. So my students, my family made it easy for me. It was like
Yeah.
was just like great, you know. I wish I could do this every weekend.
So it looks like it was a total contrast, like from when you were competing in Brazil and you're facing all, negativity and like you said, bullying and animosity. Now you're competing today, and look how life has kind of changed. It's the exact opposite. Now you're doing something different. You're the head instructor, and you got all that support. So that's really cool to see. It's an amazing accomplishment. Talking about jujitsu nowadays, I know we touched on it a little bit. What competitors do you see competing, like female competitors, that feel like maybe still kind of represent that like aggressive old school, game? Or do you feel like everyone's just so far off that, it's just totally different game nowadays? Is there anyone that you really enjoy, watching compete, any of the female competitors?
Well, obviously it's different. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna deny that. I feel like a lot of people just wanna make it, just wanna win. If they win by advantage, they happy, you know. And
yeah,
like I said, I hate to see that. I would love to see like you testing yourself against your opponent. Like, let's see who's better. You have
yeah,
a good guard. Okay, so I'm gonna play top because I want to pass your guard. You have a good top. I want to play bottom because I want to sweep you. You have a good takedown. I wanna take you down.
try to
So
take you down. Yeah,
yeah, I love the challenge. I'm up for the challenge. That's
nice.
what I think everybody should be. But again, this is just a personal opinion. This is who I am. Okay,
Uh-huh.
but I love watching good fights like everyone else. I love to watch the exciting fights. With that being said, the competitors that I looking forward to watch are Gabi Peçanha. I think she's a
Yeah,
beast. I think she goes for and she's all out. I love her attitude. I love the
yep,
way she's aggressive, and I love those things. I love the way she presents herself. She's poised, she's aggressive, she goes for it. I love to watch those things.
yep,
I love to watch Bianca Basilio. I think
yeah.
she's like you watch her, you see that she's happy, okay, that she's a savage. She wants to kick your ass, but if she gets her ass kicked, it doesn't mean anything. She's
Yeah,
gonna be in the next competition better than she was before. So I love watching those things. I
yeah,
mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, you have to challenge yourself. You have to be 85 years old, sitting on a rocking chair, saying, "I kick a lot of people's ass, and I got my ass kicked a lot." You have to have this feeling.
yeah,
You can be 85 sitting on your rocking chair saying, "Oh, I should have, I could have, but I didn't." You have to be aggressive. Like,
yeah,
so I have a lot of respect for them because, like I said, sometimes I watch them and I goes like, "Oh, she messed up here, she messed up there," but I love watching her attitude. Like,
yeah,
they savage. They wanna bang. They wanna go for it. They wanna kick your ass.
Yeah,
And
especially
that's
especially Bianca. Like she'll go there. I did a highlight and a case study on her, and more times than when she wins, you don't see her opponent getting the or like getting being next to the referee to have her arm race because Bianca probably broke her ankle or messed her up. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
she's very aggressive, but at the same time, she's there with a huge smile. Even if she loses, she's smiling. Just it's amazing. It's a nice. It's something nice to see as opposed to just mean mugging. And everyone's different. Everyone does it different, but it's nice to see a new generation person going in there with takedowns, with submissions, but being really, really polite and really, really nice. So, yeah, I share that with you for sure. Talking a little bit about, not trying to reflect too much on the old days, but who would you say would be who was like your biggest rival back in the day? Who gave you your toughest matches when you were competing?
well, I respect all my opponents. I thought they they had the same mindset when they came to fight me. They want to beat me. They want to embarrass me. They want to kick my ass. Okay, so I respect all of them for that, because when you step on the mats, you step on the mats with a bad intention. You want to beat, you want to kick somebody's ass. So I respect all of them for that. But I can tell you that my biggest rival, my biggest competition was Daniela Paiva, Gigi Paiva's wife.
Yeah.
She was like, she was amazing. She was tough. She was technical. She brought it. She wanna kick my ass. So that was my toughest competition that I can think of, for sure, definitely.
Would you say that that would be your most satisfying win out of all your accomplishments in jiu-jitsu? What would you say would be your most satisfying win, either a match or or event?
Well, my most satisfaction accomplished or win in jiu-jitsu was the 1998 World Championship. Not because it was against Daniela, of course, like super tough opponent, and she was winning the fight until the fight was 10 minutes, and she was winning until 9 minutes and 30 seconds. So I was there and seeing myself losing, but was because that day history was made. Not that I thought about that. I didn't go that year thinking like, okay, today history is gonna be made. But in the end of the day, if you look back like 20 years or whatever years ago was, like 21 years ago or whatever was, history was made. Okay, but when you're like 20 years old, you don't give a
You
damn
don't
about
care.
history.
Yeah.
You don't care.
Yeah.
So but history was made that day, so it was the most important fight of my life, even though I didn't know, I had no idea that that fight would made history. And of course, was it made it even more sweet because it was against a great opponent. Daniela Paiva was like as tough as it could be, like super tough, super.
So after you got to the States, you opened your academy. How did you end up affiliating with Checkmat? You got the same name as Leo, same last name Vieira. I assumed you guys were relatives, but every Ribeiros, there's Vieiras, there's so many last names that are very common in Brazil. But how did you end up hooking up with Team Checkmat?
Well, like I said, when I got here in 1999, it was like three or four schools, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu schools here in California. So I was pretty much swinging by, like training everywhere. I did a little bit of wrestling. I did judo. I was like trying to find good stuff for me. And at the same time, I was like, okay, cool. I have an opportunity to like learn from other people, learn from other martial arts. That's awesome. So I went to Higan, and I remember my goal when I came to United States. I remember talking to Master Holly Gracie. I said, I want to train there. He recommended me. He said, go train with Hickson Grace, Master Hickson Grace. But I remember one of my friends making a call to the school saying, oh, whatever, it's Leka Vieira. She wants to train with the guys. Oh no, women is not allowed. Just like that. So I remember two of those four schools, women were not allowed.
Wow.
And that's what they tell you on the phone. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but women is not allowed. But it's Leka Vieira. She's a world champion and she's a black belt. No, we don't allow women here. So then it's, and like I said, I train with Higan. I'm very like grateful and thankful for the opportunity to train with him. And after that, I trained on the Grace Muay Thai school that was by my house here. But unfortunately, we had like different um, thoughts about things, like
Sure.
I want to go one direction. Of course, the other person wants to go other direction. And it
Sure.
wasn't my school, was his school. So,
Yep.
I have to respect and, his opinion, his way to be. So I was like, you know what? Now it's time for me. Everybody, like my students, which was like only girls, they're like, why don't you open your own school? Why don't you open your own school? Why don't you open your own school? So I was like, you know what? That's time for me to kind of like open my own school. So I always have this like admiration for Leo Vieira. So I know Leo since, of course, in Brazil, since
Yeah.
he was in the Master Academy. He was like in Apoador kind of thing, and I was in Copacabana. We see each other on the street, but back in the day, was the rivalry was so
Yeah.
intense that you cannot even talk to someone that
Yeah.
belongs to another school. You know what I mean? It was very intense. So I always like, of course, like admiring Leo and watching him in the competitions. He's a legend. I have a lot of admiration for him. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to Leo because I always wanna like uh, connect with him anyways.
Yeah.
But obviously back in Brazil I couldn't. And then I came to United States. He was in Brazil. Then he came to United States and he went to another place. So then I thought it was the perfect time to like connect with him and like we had a great conversation. I exposed my point of view. He did his, and Leo is a great person, as of course
Yep.
great leader, legend of the sport. I was like, why not? He has my last name. He didn't do the DNA test yet. Leo is a
Yeah. Yeah.
millionaire, so he doesn't want to share. He might be brother and sister. I want a part of his fortune, but he didn't do the DNA test yet. So
That's
when
funny.
a lot of people ask me, "Are you related to him?" I'm
Related.
like, "Yeah, maybe." Like
Maybe.
he's still denying to do the DNA test. So let's see. But the day that he did the DNA test, I might be a millionaire like him, but we'll see. We'll find out.
That's hilarious. Yeah, Leo was the first guy I had on the podcast. I've known Leo since 2000. I got to train with him back in the day in Atlanta with Jacare, and we've kind of became friends, and we always stay in touch. And good or bad, he tells me what he thinks, and I had him on as my first guest, and I was like, you know what, if I have Leo Vieira, I gotta have Leka Vieira, so I gotta have
The
another
cousin.
legend. That's it. That's it. So, where's your academy? What's the website? Where are you located? Where are you teaching right now?
My school, it called Checkmate Valencia, obviously Valencia, California. Um, uh, it's where the Six Flags are. So if you say Six Flags, everybody would know where it is.
Okay.
It's literally like I butt up with the Six Flags. It's a beautiful place. It's like I said, like between 6 to 8,000 square feet. Uh, we have classes for the whole family. We start at 3 years old. We have class for women, class for adults, kids. It's a beautiful environment. It's a family place, and all my students are great people. I love them to death. We create like a great environment for everyone.
Nice. Nice. Okay, so this is pretty much, I got a lot out of this interview with you, this podcast with you. I learned a lot about your background. Of course, we could sit here and talk forever, but I think this was great. I hope you were able to, say a lot of things that you wanted to about jiu-jitsu and your story. My goal is to really try to educate some of the newer generation about, people that paved the way. So I try to make videos, like profile videos. I did one on you. If you guys are watching and you haven't checked it
Yeah,
out, I
sure.
did a nice highlight video of Leka in her competition days back in the day. Tell a little bit about her story. I highly recommend it. And yeah, and if you guys want to check Leka out, you can visit her. Check Matt Valencia. You said I made a mistake on the video. I said Marietta. I'm so sorry. And
No.
one of your students gave me crap after. They're like, you said the wrong name, but it's okay. My intentions were good, and I hope you realize that. But
Don't worry.
yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, like I said, it was an honor for me to have you on to learn more about your story, and I'm just excited that you're back in, competing and contributing to jiu-jitsu. I think like when you said that somebody messaged you saying like, hey, why aren't you doing it? I think that that's a real emotion because I think like in life, like people get when they're mad, it's because they're passionate, right? And maybe it's like, maybe it's love, maybe it's this, but it's like a fine line between love and hate. So for somebody to get mad at you, it's because they really, really looked up to you. You know what I mean? So I think that's a good thing, and I think it's a great thing that you're back in the community. I remember seeing you at 2014 or 15 at a tournament in California. I was like, wow, this is it's awesome. Hopefully we get to see you more. And I know I've been bugging you, asking when you're going to compete again. So it's
Yeah.
great to see you back on the mats, and hopefully we get to see more of that once everything settles with the coronavirus. And yeah, be great to see you compete again. Like I said, Leka, it's been an honor. If you guys are watching at home, check out the video. Check out Leka's website. She's got a great profile on BJJ Heroes Online. Hope you guys learned a lot. And any last comments, Leka?
Yeah, just thank you for having me. And like I said, I'm not done yet. I'll look forward to do more competition. I think I don't like the system of 10 minutes fights. I would love to do maybe a fight on the ADCC or Abu Dhabi Pro or whatever. I'm here, and for me, like I said, Ricardo, it's like about testing myself,
Yeah.
be the best competitor I can be. It's the competition with myself. So I'm open for any invitations and things like that. And I want to thank you for your time. And please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any concerns or questions. And again, like you said, passion, hate, they brother and sister, they walk with
Yeah.
their hands hand to hand. And I don't take anything personal, guys. So I appreciate the good and the bad. I appreciate the good comments, the bad comments. If something that I can change, or I think I should change, I will. Trust me. And I just wanted to say, like, thank you again, and stay safe. And I'm hoping to see everyone on the mats again. And I don't know when, but it is what it is. And again, thank you so much for your time. I had a lot of fun talking to you guys today. Thank you, Ricardo, for your time, and thank you for reaching out to me.
My
And
pleasure.
thank you, guys. That's it.
All right, guys, you heard it here. Leka Vieira, she's available. Go check out her academy. If we can line up any super fights, now that I know that, I'm going to start planting some seeds and see what I can set up because I know a lot of promoters out there, so I can see. I'll work on that for you. All right, guys. Like I said, if you guys like this video, like it, share, subscribe. If you're supporting women's jiu-jitsu, especially if you're a vocal advocate of supporting women's jiu-jitsu, please share this video. Let other people know about Leka's story. And hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys had a good time. And I'll see you guys on the next episode, episode 5, with another legend of jiu-jitsu. Take care, guys. See you next time.
Thank you so much, guys.